Hi guys, welcome back to Ibby's Bookshelf. I'm Ibby and I'm back with another video. This video is one that I've been wanting to do for a while now. So I've been on TikTok and I have seen these books that I'm about to read out so much. I've probably seen these the most on TikTok. And so I went on to Goodreads to see that, well, what's all the hype about? Why are they so popular? I'm going to be reading what Goodreads has said about them and to you, and I'll be deciding, do I want to read them or not? I haven't read them myself. I've gone onto them and I found them, but I haven't read any of it yet. So I'm looking forward to it. So I'm going to read out the list that I have. First, I have We Hunt the Flame, Serpent Dove, From Blood and Ash, Throne of Glass, not gonna lie, that sounds cool. Heartless, Renegades, Six Crows, Court of Mist and Fury, Inheritance Games, To Kill a Kingdom, and Daughter of a Pirate King. So these are the books that I have got down, and I'm going to be reading what Goodreads has said about them. So it's all on my phone here and I'll be reading it out from there. So first off is We Hunt the Flame. People lived because she killed. People died because he lived. I'm gonna have to really look at this. Zafira, I think that's the name. Zafira is the hunter, disguising herself as a man when she braves the cursed forest of Oz to feed her people. Nasir is the prince of death, assassinating those foolish enough to defy his autocratic father, the Sultan. So that makes it seem like a kind of Arabian setting, I think, if it's a sultan. If Zafira was exposed as a girl, all of her achievements would be rejected. If Nasir displayed his compassion, his father would punish him in the most brutal of ways. Yikes. Both Zafir and Nasir are legends in the kingdom of Arawiya, but neither wants to be. Okay, so what I'm getting so far, there's still more to come, but what I'm getting so far is both of them have got very high positions, but if either of them show their true selves, then their positions are going to be good, they'll be punished, and neither of them want their high positions. That's quite the problem. War is brewing and ours sweeps closer with each passing day, engulfing the land in shadow. When Zafira embarks on a quest to uncover a lost artifact that can stop the Oz, Nasir is sent by the Sultan on a similar mission. Retrieve the artifact and kill the hunter. So they are enemies, it seems. But an ancient evil stirs as their journey unfolds, and the prize they seek may pose a threat greater than either can imagine. So reading this, it sounds like a good book. I definitely like it when there's a strong female character in books, and I do like the fact that they're both in an enemy kind of relationship, but neither of them wants to be. So I do like the setting of this book. I was already going to read this, so after I read it, I'm definitely going to say my thoughts. So the next book is Serpent Dove. Bound as one to love, honor or burn. Love, honor or burn. 2 years ago, Louise LeBlanc fled her coven and took shelter in the city of Césarine, forsaking all magic and living off whatever she could steal. There, witches like Lou are hunted, so Lou is a witch. They are feared and they are burned. sworn to the church as Chassier. I can't read any of these names. As a Chassier, Reed Diggory has lived his life by one principle: thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. His path was never meant to cross with loose, but wicked stunt forces them on into an impossible union. Holy matrimony? I don't know what that is. I'm gonna wait. I might have to check that later. The war between witches and church is a ancient one, and Lu's most dangerous enemies bring a fate worse than fire. Unable to ignore her growing feelings, yet powerless to change what she is, a choice must be made, and love makes fools of us all. Right, so first off, I wanted to find out what matrimony is, and it's basically marriage. It's social union or legal contract between people called spouses that creates kinship. I didn't know that. So yeah, so they are forced into a holy marriage. Now again, it's enemies to lovers kind of situation. They're both from different sides. There's the light and the dark. So the light would be the church, and I'm guessing the dark would be the witches. So this does sound interesting to a point, and I'm guessing like most of these books, because they're popular teen books, will have some aspect of romance in it. Me personally, I'm not like really one for romance, but I do read it. So on to the next book. This one sounds interesting. This was one of the first ones I saw, and I was really excited about it. I haven't read it yet. So, From Blood and Ash. Chosen from birth to usher in a new era, Poppy's life has never been her own. The life of the maiden is solitary, never to be touched, never to be looked upon, never to be spoken to, never to experience pleasure. Waiting for the day of her accession, she would rather be with the gods, fighting back the evil that took her family, than preparing to be found worthy by the gods. But the choice has never been hers. So Poppy is like the protected princess. So she's not allowed to be spoken to, not allowed to be looked at, not allowed to be touched. She's very guarded and protected. And it seems that she's lost her family to an evil and is waiting to be found worthy by the gods. So I can already say that she's the heroine. I'm gonna carry on. A duty. The entire kingdom's future rests on Poppy's shoulders, something she's not even quite sure she wants for herself, because a maiden has a heart and a soul and longing. Then Hawk, a golden-eyed god, honor-bound to ensure her accession, enters her life. Destiny and duty become tangled with desire and need. He entices her anger, makes her question everything she believes in, and tempts her with the forbidden. A kingdom. Forsaken by the gods and feared by mortals, a fallen kingdom is rising once more, determined to take back what they believe is theirs through violence and vengeance. And as the shadow of those cursed draws closer, the line between what is forbidden and what's right becomes blurred. Poppy is not only on the verge of losing her heart and being found unworthy by the gods, but also her life when every blood-soaked thread that holds her world together begins to unravel. Right. I will put all these down in the description in case you want to read these for yourself. But it seems to me that From Blood and Ash has got a heroine, and it's got a hero. It's also got like the typical villain. It's got these 3 typical characters. And obviously the heroine and the hero are in love, and the evil is probably trying to do something to keep them apart. It sounds, I think most of these are set in like kind of medieval kind of times. And I do read quite a few medieval mangas. Most of them that I read are to do with royals, reincarnation. So these sort of books do sound quite interesting to me. But I don't know if I would actually want to read From Blood and Ash now, saying as it's so set. But we'll see. At the end of this, I will say which one I want to read the most and which one I don't want to. Thorn of Glass. After serving out a year of hard labor in the salt mines of End of Year for her crimes, I think it's End of Year, for her crimes, 18-year-old assassin Selena. I'm bad with things. Selena Sardotian is dragged before the crown prince. Prince Dorian offers her her freedom on one condition. She must act as his champion in a competition to find a new royal assassin. Her opponents are men thieves and assassins and warriors from across the empire, each sponsored by a member of the King's Council. If she beats her opponents in a series of eliminations, she'll serve the kingdom for 4 years and then be granted her freedom. Selena finds her training sessions with the captain of the guard, Westfall, challenging and exhilarating, but she's bored stiff by court life. Things get a little more interesting when the prince starts to show interest in her, but it's the gruff Captain Westfall who seems to understand her best. Then, one of the other contestants turns up dead, quickly followed by another. Can Selena find out who the killer is before she becomes a victim? As the young assassin investigates, her search leads her to discover a greater destiny than she could possibly have imagined. So again, I really like this story, Throne of Glass, because it's got like that strong female character who's going up against the much older, probably much stronger men, and she's actually able to fight against them. And again, since this is like in a medieval kind of era, men probably don't think strong women are a thing. They wouldn't really like that. So I do like books where there's a strong female lead. So I'm definitely going to want to read this book. Also, there's a style of murder in this as well. So Selena, she's an assassin, but she's also becomes a detective at one point in the story. So that is actually quite interesting. Heartless. Now this one really caught my eye. A lot of my friends were going on about it. So let's read it. Long before she was the terror of Wonderland, the infamous Queen of Hearts, she was just a girl who wanted to follow. Whoa. So this book is a twist of Alice in Wonderland. So fairy tale. This is interesting. Catherine may be one of the most desired girls in Wonderland. Her name's Catherine? Okay. And a favourite of the unmarried King of Hearts. But her interest lies elsewhere. A talented baker. All she wants is to open a shop with her best friend. But according to her mother, such a goal is unthinkable for the young woman who could be the next queen. Well, I can see where her mom's coming from. Then Cat meets Jest, the handsome and mysterious court joker, so the jester. For the time, she feels the pull of true attraction and the risk of offending the king and infuriating her parents. She and Jest enter into an intense secret courtship. Cat is determined to define her own destiny and fall in love on her terms. But in a land thriving with magic, madness, and monsters, fate has other plans. So this is looking at it from the villain's point of view. So I'm guessing we've all read Alice in Wonderland or watched it at some point. Alice is the heroine. Queen of Hearts is the bad person who wants to execute Alice for stealing the prize. So this is looking at it from the Queen of Hearts perspective. So the villain's perspective. That is interesting, but it seems like more much. It seems for like more mature. I wouldn't like recommend it for 10-year-olds by just like reading this. So I don't know. It does sound interesting, and it's from a villain's point of view from Alice in Wonderland. It is very calling for me to read it, but I still don't know if I would read it quite just yet. Renegades. Secret identities, extraordinary powers. She wants vengeance, he wants justice. The Renegades are a syndicate of prodigies, humans with extraordinary abilities, who emerged from the ruins of a crumbled society and established peace and order where chaos reigned. As champions of justice, they remain a symbol of hope and courage to everyone, except the villains they once overthrew. Nova has a reason to hate the Renegades, and she is on a mission for vengeance. As she gets closer to her target, she meets Adrian, a renegade boy who believes in justice, and in Nova. But Nova's allegiance is to a villain who has the power to end them both. So again, it's like an enemies to lovers book, and they're both on opposite sides. It does sound... I think I can see like where this story is going. Nova is probably like a very insecure person. She probably grew up with these villains, believing what the villains are doing is correct. Because when you grow up with people, you've been told that things since you're a child. You tend to believe that it's correct, and the people you're growing up with are good. So Nova is probably quite insecure. That's just my perspective. If anyone has read the book, I'm sorry if I've made the wrong assumption. Six of Crows. My friend is actually currently reading this. She says it is quite good. So let's see. Ketterdam? I don't know. Ketterdam, a bustling hub of international trade where anything can be had for the right price. And no one knows that better than criminal prodigy Kaz Brecker. Kaz is offered a chance at a deadly heist that would make him rich beyond his wildest dreams, but he can't pull it off alone. A convict with the thirst for revenge, a sharpshooter who can't walk away from a wager, a runaway with a privileged past, a spy known as the Wraith, and a heart trender using her magic to survive the slums, a thief with a gift for unlikely escapes. Kaz's crew is the only thing that might stand between the world and destruction if they don't kill each other first. This book, I feel like all these books have storylines in them, but this one seems more dark than most. It's very criminal. Yeah, so that's Six of Crows. Very dark. Now, the next one is probably the one that I'm looking forward to most talking about. Court of Thorns and Roses. Court of Mist and Fury. So before I say about that, when I was looking for these books, I found Court of Mist and Fury, and I thought it might be a standby book or it might be the first of a series. So I put it down. And then I've been wanting to do this for a while, so I made this list a few weeks ago. Now, recently, my friend from school asked me to read A Court of Thorns and Roses. I didn't remember that I wrote down a book called Court of Mist and Fury, and I have read Court of Thorns and Roses. It's a very good book with a very interesting storyline, and I was very into it. Then when I coming to do this video, I saw Court of Mist and Fury, and I realized, oh, so it's part of the Court series, and I was very surprised. So I'm also going to be reading out the description for Court of Thorns and Roses. I will say if I agree to it or not, because I have read this book. So, Court of Thorns and Roses is... Fair's survival rests upon her ability to hunt and kill. The forest where she lives is a cold, bleak place in long winter months. So when she spots a deer in the forest being pursued by a wolf, she cannot resist fighting it for the flesh. But to do so, she must kill the predator, and killing something so precious comes at a price. Dragged into a magical kingdom for the murder of a fairy, I still can't say that thing. I think it's fairy. So for the murder of Fairy, Fair discovers that her captor, his face obscured by a jeweled mask, is hiding far more than his piercing green eyes would suggest. Fair's presence at the court is closely guarded, and as she begins to learn why, her feelings for him turn from hostility to passion, and the fairy lands become an even more dangerous place. Fair must fight to break an ancient curse, or she will lose him forever. So yes, I agree with this summary. It's a very good summary that doesn't give away too much of the story, and I do agree with it. So I can tell that if I didn't read Court of Thorns and Roses and I was just reading it, I would still be able to tell that Fair, by being able to hunt, kill, survival, she must be another strong female lead. And being dragged into enemy territory, and she says that she's still got hostility towards him, meaning she doesn't scare easily. And she's fighting for something as well. So I find this summary very advantageous to the book. And the book itself is very good. I wouldn't recommend it for little kids. My school has said year 9 plus. I'm in year 9, so I can read it, but I wouldn't recommend it to anyone younger than that. Court of Mist and Fury. So this is I think the 4th book in the series. By far the most popular too, I believe. So Court of Mist and Fury seems to be the most popular by far. First survived, I cannot read it. Amaranthus, all right, her. Amaranthus clutches to return to the Spring Court by a steep cost. Though she now has the powers of a high fae, her heart remains human, and it can't forget the terrible deeds she performed to save Tamlin's people. Nor has Fair forgotten her bargain with Rysand, High Lord of the feared Night Court. As Fair navigates its dark web of politics, passion, and dazzling power, a greater evil looms, and she might be the key to stopping it. But only if she can harness her harrowing gifts, heal her fractured soul, and decide how she wishes to shape her future, and the future of a world cleaved in two. With more than 1 million copies sold to... Oh wait, that's just the author's note, I think. Right, so I'm shocked. When does Fair become a high fae? Right, so that was quite shocking for me, because as I already said, I have not read these descriptions. I found them on Goodreads, but I copied and pasted them. I did not read them though. So this is quite shocking for me. I really need to read the rest of the books now. I'm a little worried. But okay. Inheritance games. I think we're almost coming to the end. This has been quite a long video, so let's speed it up a bit. Inheritance games. A Cinderella story with deadly stakes and thrilling twists. So again, it's a fairy tale story. Avery Grams has a plan for a better future. Survive high school, win a scholarship, and get out. But her fortunes change in an instant when billionaire Tobias Hawthorne dies and leaves Avery virtually his entire fortune. The catch? Avery has no idea why, or even who Tobias Hawthorne is. To receive her inheritance, Avery must move into the sprawling secret passage filled Hawthorne house, where each room bears the old man's touch and his love for puzzles, riddles, and codes. I like riddles and puzzles. Codes, not so much. Unfortunately for Avery, Hawthorne house is also occupied by the family that Tobias Hawthorne just dispossessed. This includes the 4 Hawthorne grandsons, dangerous, magnetic, brilliant boys who grew up with every expectation that one day they would inherit billions. Heir apparent Grayson Hawthorne is convinced that Avery must be a con woman, and he is determined to take her down. His brother Jameson views her as their grandfather's last hurrah, a twisted riddle, a puzzle to be solved. Caught in a world of wealth and privilege, with danger around every turn, Avery will have to play the game herself just to survive. So it says it's Cinderella, but it seems to be set sort of future as well, because I don't think, did they have high school in medieval times? I don't know, I'm not a history genius. But it does seem that this Cinderella kind of story seems quite different from the Cinderella we know. Unlike this, the other book, Heartless, this one I'm more inclined and wanting to read, because it seems, I don't know, more interesting, I think. And these 2 more, and that would be it for today's video. I apologize if I'm going too fast or this is very confusing. Again, all of this will be in the description if you want to read it for yourself. To kill a kingdom. Princess Lyra is siren royalty and the most lethal of them all. With the hearts of 17 princes in her collection, she is revered across the sea until a twist of fate forces her to kill one of her own. To punish her daughter, the Sea Queen transforms Lyra into the one thing they loathe most, a human. Kind of offended at that. Robbed of her song, Lyra has until the winter solstice to deliver Prince Elion's heart to the Sea Queen, or remain human forever. The ocean is the only place Prince Elion calls home, even though he is the heir to the most powerful kingdom in the world. Hunting sirens is more than an unsavory hobby, it's his calling. When he rescues a drowning woman in the sea, she's more than what she appears. She promises to help him find the key to destroying all of siren kind for good. But can he trust her? Just how many deals will Elion have to barter to eliminate mankind's greatest enemy? Lyra seems bad to me. Like, she's got 17 princes in her collection. Not even princes, the hearts of them. Is it like literal hearts? I'm a little confused at this point. And it seems that she'll tell Prince Elion how to destroy her kind, but she just said that she would get Prince Elion's heart to the Sea Queen. So I'm gonna think I'm right in backing Prince Elion, as in he shouldn't trust Lyra. But maybe he should, I don't know. Daughter of a Pirate King. This is the last one, and this is also the one that was one of the less, I did see a lot, but it was less mentioned than all the other books. So I don't know about this book. Daughter of a Pirate King. There'll be plenty of time for me to beat him soundly once I've gotten what I came for. Violent. Sent on a mission to retrieve an ancient hidden map, the key to a legendary treasure trove. 17-year-old pirate captain Alosa deliberately allows herself to be captured by her enemies, giving her the perfect opportunity to search their ship. More than a match for this ruthless pirate crew, Alosa has only one thing standing between her and the map: her captor, the unexpectedly clever and unfairly attractive first mate Raiden. But not to worry, for Alosa has a few tricks up her sleeve, and no lone pirate can stop the daughter of the Pirate King. So again, another strong female lead, and a pirate at that. So she seems smart, and she wants to get this treasure map from Raiden. I think I'm correct in calling that she and Raiden will be together by the end of the book. Just saying. So those are all those books. And as I said, I will choose the one that I will read first. So I'm already reading the Court series, so that does not count. I will get around to reading Court of Mist and Fury. I think the book that I really want to read the most would be We Hunt the Flame. Just me, but it seems to... I think that would be the book that I will choose. I will try to find it either online or maybe in a library. Once I have read all of these books, I will again probably try to make sure to review. So that is the end of today's video. Bye guys, I'll see you all next week.